Hello, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video we're going to be making a raw peach mango pie.
Ooh, baby, that looks so good.
And this is inspired by Anji from Happy Healthy Vegan. She is the one who kind of put this idea into my head. It's super yummy, and I'm just gonna do like my version of that. So thank you, Anji, for that recipe. And let me show you all what we're gonna put in our pie today. Over here, we have our stars of the pie. I actually chose to do white peaches, which are these right here. I have a yellow nectarine. Spices, they're gonna go into the crust and some into our filling too, which is with the fruit. We have cinnamon, I have some cardamom, some vanilla powder, and some nutmeg right here. I normally just do cinnamon, but I'm kind of feeling more in the fall mood, so I'm gonna try to recreate a pumpkin spice with all these other spices. And then on top of that, we have some medjool dates, which I'm just showing you how I buy them. They already come packaged. Pre-COVID, you could get them in bulk. Now everything's already portioned out. But what you see here are those same dates, but they're in hot water. And that's a tip if your medjool dates aren't as fresh and squishy. These I bought them like a week ago, so they weren't as fresh as they could be. So one way to freshen them up and make them more juicy is to put them in some hot water. So that's what you see in this bowl here. And then we have our oats, which are going to be like the base of our crust, and our crust is just going to be oats and dates and the spices. And then we have our mango here because I was feeling kind of tropical. Plus these were on sale at our store, so I just want to add that to the pie, and I know it's going to make it taste awesome. And then here I already have some frozen peach slices. I bought these from Trader Joe's. This is just if we need extra for our filling, but we'll see. And then I also already chopped up some of my peaches, just to kind of get the process going. This is what you're gonna need to make this delicious raw frozen peach mango pie. So now we're on to the step of making our crust, and as I mentioned before, it's only gonna have oats, dates, and spices. I'm using the old-fashioned oats. Our medjool dates, an important tip, if I didn't already say it, is when you prior to blending your dates, they have a pit or a little hard stone seed that's on the inside of them. So you want to take out that seed before you blend, because that'll definitely mess up your blender. That's what I'm gonna do, just because these dates were soaking, just to make them a bit more juicy. I'm just gonna drain that juice. You could save that liquid actually if you needed to, let's say, make the crust more moist, but I don't think I'm gonna need that in this instance because they've already absorbed a lot of the liquid. I counted 8 dates, so I'm just gonna start off because we need some of these dates for our filling. So I'm gonna put in 5 for the crust, and you can go along and taste it. If I need more, I'll just add more. And then for the oats, I think I'm gonna start off with about a cup of oats. I have half a cup here. It's all kind of based on the texture. Just because the measurements that I put in now, like let's say it's too dry or if it's too wet, I can add more just to get that consistency that we want. And I'll show you guys what the end product should be like. Here I have some vanilla powder, which is a game changer. I recently got that. Before I was using the vanilla extract. This has additives. I mean, it has some extra things. So if you want to get more pure and just have straight up vanilla, that's what this is. It's just the vanilla bean ground up into a powder. I got this off of Amazon, so I will link it down below, so you guys can see the one that I like. I've used it a couple times and it tastes really good. Like, it has a good vanilla flavor. I'm gonna put in about, this is like a teaspoon, so I'm gonna put in about a teaspoon of vanilla powder. I mean, a little goes a long way with this, so you don't want to use too much. Next, what I'm gonna put in is cinnamon. I eyeball a lot of things, but for this instance, I'm gonna be better about trying to measure. So we're gonna do about 1.5 teaspoons. And then I don't normally do this, but I wanna try it out, is to kind of do more of a pumpkin spice kind of flavor for the crust. So, I mean, we can do about 1/2 teaspoon of cardamom. Because this, I feel like it's a bit more intense, so is nutmeg. I too am just gonna add about 1/2 teaspoon. So we have our cardamom, our cinnamon, nutmeg, and vanilla powder in there. We have our dates and our oats. So I'm gonna blend it up and see how that looks right now. And you kind of want to pulse it. You don't want to continuously blend it, because it's important how it looks, but more so how it feels. If you can form it into a ball, and I still feel like it's a little bit dry. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add like 1/2 of this date, because this one's wet. And actually Angie's recipe called for nuts, and I don't eat nuts, but that definitely you could too if you wanted. So the nut, so the fat from the nut would act as like a binder. It'll kind of hold everything together. Here what's acting as my binder are my dates, so that's why I added an extra 1/2. Oh, look, that's looking pretty good. I'm able to mold it, and that's what you want so that it can form to the shape of your pie pan. So I think this is great. Yeah, so let's see. That does smell like pumpkin pie. So yeah, so I'm gonna transfer this into my pie pan, and I don't think this was intended as a pie pan, but I believe it came with my Instant Pot or my air fryer, and this essentially this is like my pie pan. It's just a bit, so the circumference, it's smaller, and it's a bit deeper. So we're gonna see if we have enough. If we need to make more, we can make more, that's no problem. What I'm gonna do now is just kind of press it down into the pan. Let's see, so I had to, so yeah, so this took 5.5 dates then, because I have 2.5 left and I had 8. So 5.5 dates for a cup of oats. That was a really good consistency. Yeah, and so what I'm doing is I'm just smoothing it down. Kind of, it's very easy to mold it, like it's not sticking to my fingers, which is great. So to me, that's a good sign that that's a really good consistency. And it looks really pretty too. Okay, so that's pretty much what I ended up with. This is gonna be a smaller version of my intended pie size, but that's okay. So we have our crust. Next step, we're gonna go to the filling. So we're gonna start off with these. So I have a mixture of white peaches, a yellow nectarine, and just a yellow peach. So I'm just gonna put those into my blender. There were some ones that I sliced more thinly on the bottom, and I'm gonna save those because I kind of want them to decorate the top of the pie. Okay, so I'm gonna hold on to these to kind of decorate the top. And then next, I'm gonna cut up my mango. So we have our mango right here. This is a red mango, which I absolutely love. And so what you want to do is basically you want to cut off the cheeks, or I guess that's what they're called. So that's what I'm going to do. You want to get as close to the pit or the bone, but if you hit it, like, you'll feel it. So you want to get as close but not hit it. So you just go around, cut off one cheek. Actually, it was a little too good, but that's okay. I won't use that, but look at that. That looks really good. Is then from then, you just kind of make some slits. And so what I do is I just kind of slice off the pieces. Okay, good. I'm not trying to get the skin in there. Actually, I think I want to add one more peach. So this one's actually pretty soft. Then to cut a peach too, something like a trick that I learned is like, so there are these like ridges that come down. If you cut along the ridge, it'll help you, see, it'll help you open it up. And then at that point, the seed broke, that seed broke in half. Look at that. So here's the fruit so far. And then what I'm gonna add is I'm probably gonna add a little bit of cinnamon because I think it'll just make the flavors pop. I would say that's about a teaspoon of cinnamon. And then I'm gonna measure out our vanilla powder. Let's do about that. So I would say that's about half a teaspoon of our vanilla powder. So that's looking good. So I'm gonna put my top back on right now. And then we're just gonna pulse it a bit so that we get the pieces kind of cut up. That's looking good. That's smelling good. I want to add some chunks. Oh, and you know, I needed to add the dates. So my dates are going back in. So we've blended it with our dates as well, which is important because that really is our sweetener. I'm not adding any refined sugars. I'm not adding any syrup. I'm not adding any cane sugar. No, so our sweetener is just the whole fruit, and that's dates and the peaches. Just to kind of put a change in texture, I'm just gonna like chop up these, what's left of my peaches, so that it kind of gives, so you'll have like bites of whole fruit when you take a bite of the pie. Now I'm just gonna kind of mix that into my filling. So I'm gonna pour it in now, and we're gonna see if it was enough, if we needed to do more. But yeah, so just getting the last bit of the filling, because you don't want to waste any of this goodness. And so now, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna kind of, you know, decorate the top of this. And then I'm just gonna kind of cut this, and there you go. That is the peach pie. That's pre-frozen or before it sets. And so what's gonna make this pie settle and actually kind of solidify and be able so that you can cut it is the freezing process. I think minimum is gonna take like 2 hours. So now we're gonna put it into our freezer, let it set, do its thing for 2 hours, and then we'll pull it out, and then we'll show you guys the final product. So our pie has been in the freezer. We actually left it overnight, so it's been in there for more than a couple of hours. So we're gonna pull it out now, see how it came out. So this was us doing another take. So it was already cut, but this is how the pie came out. And I already have some slices that I portioned out. Okay, so this is how the pie came out. So as you can see, there's the crust. Get a nice cross section of that.
So yeah, that's your thumbnail right there. Ooh, baby, that looks so good.
So this is the final product. This is my raw frozen peach and mango pie, and I hope you all can try this out. It's super yummy. It's good right now because it's summer, it's really hot. Yeah, it's a sweet treat that's pretty healthy too.